Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the Finance Minister, Mthuli Ncube, he said on this very program not too long back, no, the Zimbabwe dollar's coming back. It's going to put more cash into the economy. It's going to stabilize things. What is actually happening in reality?
Okay, I think there's really need to separate the fiction and also and reality by the end of the day. Was what's happened on the ground, especially if we just look at the festive season, for example. We've seen that most merchants and even traders are preferring to transact in the USD and also in the South African rand. And in most cases, if they are transacting in the Zim dollar, everything is really benchmarked against the USD. And most of the times, the reference is the parallel market. So it really shows you that the timing of the Zim dollar or introduction of the Zim dollar was quite premature, given, of course, the confidence levels that continue to be quite poor and weakening economic fundamentals in the broader economy.
So what is happening out there on the streets? Because one thing about currency and trusting currency is something most countries take for granted, but getting that trust back in Zimbabwe's currency after so many years away and using foreign currency, how difficult is it proving?
Yeah, it's quite difficult. So the way in which we look at currencies, by the end of the day, it's pretty much like a share, right? That's listed. The share price really follows the fundamentals of the company. So the same applies to countries. When exchange rates are actually determined by the performance of the underlying economies. I was just reading a recent report by the Economic Intelligence Unit. It was putting forecasts for 2020 in terms of GDP. They're looking at a contraction of 12.9%, which is quite disturbing. Of course, there are a lot of headwinds that we continue to see in Zimbabwe, the issue of drought and also the power outage. So really against that background and also just looking at the top picture, probably it was not the right time to then look at a Zim dollar. And we really have actually proposed, options for the Zimbabwe government to really consider. And one of them, of course, is to consider joining the Rand money.
And how confusing must it be for foreign investors? I mean, if you're looking to put your millions into Harare this year, what do? Do you put it in Zim dollars? You put it in Rand? You put it in dollars? What do you do?
Okay, so we've seen that, portfolio investment flows into Zimbabwe have been drying up because of, what has happened on the exchange front. You find that investors can't really move in and out easily in Zimbabwe. So you find that investors on the ZSC, foreigners have been exiting the market, really using fungible stocks such as Old Mutual. But of course, that being the case, if you then consider Zimbabwe as a market, I think it's worth considering from a long-term perspective. I'm talking about 5 to 10 years. Because you have to see beyond political regimes and things like that. But when you're investing on our markets, really what you're putting in are Zim dollars. So you can come in with the USD and exchange those for local currency and then buy into the stock market. Because the stock market right now is pretty much in Zim dollar as we speak.
But also, lastly, and very briefly, what is the alternative? There's been a sort of ramshackle system going on for many years now. Now that at least the government's trying to get more liquidity into the system, but what is the alternative?
From a government perspective, I think what they need to do really is to find ways boosting confidence. So really, what we've put out was to say that, probably joining a Rand monetary union or fixing the Zim dollar against the Rand would sort of give them time to work out things on the economic and political front as they build on confidence. For as long as we are at this point in time, I think it's going to be hard really to generate FDI and also portfolio investments into Zimbabwe.
Well, obviously, clearly, Zimbabwe's got a lot of challenges ahead of it in 2020. Thank you very much, as always, for your time and insights. Batanai Matsika, the head of research at Morgan & Co., coming to us live there from Harare.